Hey everybody, this is Erman here with MixKnowledgy, an event series, across the country in LA, New York, and Chicago this summer. Today we have a really special guest with us, an artist that I have enjoyed literally when I discovered him or when I came across him in the last weekend. We have Sincerely Collins, his album, The Legend of the Phoenix, almost the Rise of the Phoenix, The Legend of the Phoenix is on iTunes right now. You can check it out. A bunch of great songs. Please welcome Sincerely Collins.
What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
No worries, man. What would your theme song be if I could afford to put a theme song to your entrance for this interview?
Say that one more time.
What would your theme song be for this interview if I had a budget to actually pay for a song? What would it be?
It's someone else's? A song of someone else's?
Yeah, I would say so.
Man, that's a really good question. I'm going to go with Schoolboy Q, that part.
Okay. Very cool, man. Yeah, next time when I have the budget. So,
yeah,
no,
for sure.
So it's awesome having you. As with most people on this call, you are from Arizona, which is a state I've never been to. But how has being in Arizona, or I guess in the middle, what would you describe it? Not Midwest, but on the East Coast, I guess.
It's like
how
Southwest.
Has that? Yeah, Southwest.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
There you go. Yeah, how has that developed your personal sound in music?
To be honest with you, it helped. It actually helped develop my sound in kind of a weird way, and that's by not really having a sound itself. Having to pull from so many other places, because there isn't much to take from coming from Phoenix as far as an aesthetic or a sound to really become inspired by. Everyone in Phoenix is it was like the 49th or 47th state sound or something like that, or established.
Yeah.
Everybody from Phoenix is an implant. Everybody is from somewhere else, and it makes you really have to kind of pull for inspiration from weird places. You have a lot of people in the early '90s. My manager included iRock. He actually had a very West Coast sound, and that's kind of what Phoenix seemed to adopt. In the '90s and the early 2000s, and then the South got really popular, and people started moving here from the South, and a lot of people came over from the Katrina situation, and
right.
It ended up getting, a very Southern kind of trappy sort of sound, and neither of those things were really me, to be honest with you. So it really took a lot of digging, a lot of research, a lot of going back and finding music that I could really relate to, as far as the feeling, as far as that mood, as far as that magic that it gave you, because we didn't really have that magic moment in Phoenix. We're creating the magic moment now. That's what's happening right now. So really, it's been other places that have inspired my music, and all that together has kind of created Phoenix to be sort of a hybrid sound now that we are going to be able to create the sound to inspire the new Phoenix generation, if that makes sense.
I love it, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's kind of segueing to my next question was The Legend of the Phoenix. The dope name is a really dope name for the album. Can you elaborate on the title itself?
Well, The Legend of the Phoenix, it's relevant for several reasons. The most obvious being that I'm from Phoenix, and it kind of is an ode or representation to my city. But also just, what the story, The Legend of the Phoenix, the actual Legend of the Phoenix, what it represents and what it stands for is very very in alignment with what I actually have going on, and with what I'm trying to do, and what I've come from. The Phoenix rose from the ashes, and that's kind of what happened with me. Like, since a young boy, I've had a crazy childhood. I've had so many crazy setbacks, things that, it's a lot to happen in one lifetime. I said in, I don't know if it was an interview or what it was before, but I've been quoted on it a couple times. But I think the saying was, I've been through adversity so many times that you would think I was chasing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with that being said, The Legend of the Phoenix is just such a great title to represent the growth and the evolution of where I came from and where I'm headed.
Love it, man. Love it, love it. And speaking of where you came from, let's go back and rewind just a little bit. I'm sure not every artist wakes up and go, you know what, I'm gonna be a rapper today. How was your start like? How did you grow into an artist from the very beginning?
Well, honestly, one day I just woke up and I was like, I'm going to be a rapper. No, I'm just kidding. So, honestly, when I was 13 years old, I actually got invited by my cousin, Shay, who was a rapper at the time. He invited me out to his house, and he happened to be working on like a little 3-song demo to send out to labels, and he flew his friend out from Albuquerque. I don't know why his name's slipping my mind right now, but he flew his friend out from Albuquerque where he used to make music, and they kind of got together and put together some songs and put together a studio in his house for the weekend and invited me over to stay the night and hang out with them and just watch him work. And honestly, that day, that night changed my life. I watched the process. I watched what it meant to be a lyricist. I watched how to perform in the booth. I watched how they create a beat. I watched how they go through the process of deciding how their song's going to come about. How they produce just everything. You know what I mean? And it's the only thing that I had ever seen in my life that I fell in love with every single aspect of it. You know what I mean? Even the work aspect of it. You know, growing up as a basketball player, you love playing basketball, you love hooping, you love playing in the games and scrimmaging and all that shit, but you don't really, I don't know if I can cuss, sorry, but
no, go
you
ahead,
don't really
feel free.
you don't really love the practice aspect of it, right? You don't really love drills, you know, you don't love things like that, but with music it was like, man, I love the drills, I love the practice, like, you know what I mean? I love every part of it. And not only do I love every part of it, it was like instantly understanding it. It was like I've done it before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, from that moment on, it was just like I had the magic in me, and it was never going away. The fire was never going to burn out. And I just continued to follow that magnetic north. You know.
And it's funny because earlier before the interview, you mentioned studying, and when you said study, I'm thinking school. No, but you meant studying music, the craft of music. So. Kudos to that, man, and it shows how much you appreciate the craft and how much it is a career path for you rather than just a hobby, you know.
Yeah, I mean it's very important, I think, to if you want to be the best at something, you know, you have to put in the extra work, and you have to find inspiration and passion even in the little tedious things like studying a record or, you know, things like that. Like, how are you ever going to know what a true radio record is if you don't know the common denominator between you know, hit songs on the radio?
There you go. And speaking of which, let's talk about that common denominator. What is the common denominator in your eyes?
For a hit song on the radio?
Yes, sir.
That's funny. I mean, that's why I'm studying, because it's ever changing. You know, it's ever changing. I'm studying what's going on right now, and for me, I'm noticing, at least on the urban charts, I'm noticing a lot of dark. You know, a lot of dark, kind of theatrical. Like when I say that part would be my theme song. You know, listen to a song like that, and you know, you hear the dum 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 dum, like it's just very eerie and creepy. Or you think of a song like,
I would say creepy.
Open up that window, you know what I mean, like things like that.
Yeah.
Or, you know, Future and Designer, and you know, they're winning right now. But then you go and you look at the pop side, you know, and you think of a song like you think of people like 21 Pilots or someone like that, where it's like, where it's kind of got a little bit of eeriness to it, and it's still a little bit of hip hop, but it's very worldly, it's very digestible, it's very transparent and universal. You know, and then the rhythm charts kind of fall somewhere in the middle of that, I guess, with a song like a Drake Controller or something like that. You know what I mean? where it's kind of like the two worlds kind of combined. So I would say right now the common denominator is probably that eerie sort of texture that people are using right now, that they seem to be putting in almost every record.
Right.
But you can kind of manipulate that based off of the feeling you want them to get. If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me personally, I'm a huge fan of storytelling, and what I love about your lyrics is that it's actual lyricism. You know, you're painting a picture for us. And if you don't mind, and I would hate to be so dramatic so early on, but there's standout tracks to me that actually helped me kind of discover who you are as an artist. Redcoat. It's a track that stands out to a lot of us, I think. Really deep stuff. If you don't mind just telling the story behind the record for the listeners, if that's okay.
Yeah. So basically, when I was 2 years old, my mother went missing. She was never found. You know, they had an investigation. Gilbert police opened an investigation, and there had been a few suspects, but no concrete evidence. Let's put it that way. To convict anybody, and that's the start of my life. You know, that was the tragedy that begun this journey that I'm on right now. You know, and growing up without a mother, I didn't have a father either. I grew up with my grandparents. You know, it was literally the toughest thing to have to face throughout my entire life. You know, not having parents is something that, you know, sounds one way, but there's so many other emotions and things that come from that you don't really like take into consideration. You know, like you know, just moments when you're young where your friends are having dinner with their parents, and like you're just thinking like, what would this feel like? You know what I mean? Like, what would it feel like if I was my friend and he was me? You know what I mean? Like, man, that would be so awesome. Just certain things that you have to go through that like not everyone is going to realize at the time is like affecting you. And the song is kind of like a built-up combination of all of these crazy emotions that don't get told over a time period, that all kind of bursts out in like a nightmare. And that happens sometimes, you know what I mean? Those kind of things happen. So the song basically is just it's a story of me kind of going through all these thoughts and emotions and the struggle of just trying to battle through that and waking up from nightmares and just really trying to deal with the problem head on. You know what I mean? It's a really graphic, crazy song, and it's just a perspective to look at, you know, when dealing with a situation as crazy as my childhood situation.
Yeah, and I applaud you for sharing that with us. You know, as an artist, I think sometimes you have to open up, and like I said, I applaud you for sharing that. I don't know, you know, I couldn't possibly imagine what you went through, but hey, it looks like you're stronger now. So yeah. So I'd love to know what has been your favorite collaboration, because I see your album has a bunch of collaborations. Can you give us like a standout collab, even maybe outside the album?
Let's see. That's a good one too. My favorite collaboration.
It could be of all time. It doesn't necessarily have to be like in the last year or so.
I just really want to think of like a really good answer. Give me 1 second. I could go really cliche and throw some promo out there and just say that I'm gonna give you two answers.
Okay.
So one of them is a song that is not released yet. My brother Bootleg Kev has a song, or has an album that he's putting out. It's like a DJ Khaled type situation where he kind of gets a few artists together and makes a collaborative album. And I am actually on a song with Jadakiss, and that
Love it. Okay.
that is definitely one huge step in the right direction for me, and I love Jada's verse. So that's one thing. But if I had to go kind of just like off of heart and feeling and just like that what's the word? That nostalgia from a song, I would say no, I'm gonna go ahead and go with Light Work. I'm gonna say my.
You know what? I was
Work.
gonna mention that. Yeah, I was gonna mention. Is that your favorite track off the album? That's my next question. What's your favorite track off the album? Mine is personally is Possible.
Light Work is off of my previous album. Light Work is one album prior. But yeah, the funny thing about Light Work is that it's not even one of my favorite songs from my Destroyer album. But it does happen to be probably my favorite collaboration, just because of the what it felt like when we put it out, and what it accomplished, and just everything that embodies it. I'd probably have to say that Light Work really is my favorite collaboration. But but moving forward to the new album, yeah, that song is from the last album. But yeah, Possible is definitely a front runner on the new project for sure.
Absolutely. Speaking of moving forward, I noticed that you have been not just mentioned, but interviewed by a bunch of blogs, Hip Hop DX, All New Music, etc. You know, for some artists, they're in these blogs, and it's like, okay, cool. For you, how has it motivated you or inspired you to go forward in your career? Like, has it pushed you forward in being in these interviews, and what has it done for your career?
Help me understand the question a little bit more. So you're saying, like, being in blogs, how has it influenced me?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Well, you know, blogs is like the new blogs is almost like the new like talk show. You know what I mean? Like the new SNL, or the new late night, or whatever it may be. Like, blogs is the outlet to find stuff that you weren't gonna really find unless you were just hanging out at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with that being said, they're so important, and it's one of those things that's weirdly important, especially if you're not like you're not one of those people who kind of just like lives in the internet, you know?
Right.
Because there's especially like the new generation, the new generation of kids, like 2000, born after 2000, you know, they grew up inside of the internet practically. You know what I mean? So it's like,
yeah,
they are 100% connected to it. It's almost like it's a part of them. But me being, you know, one of the 90s babies who kind of got to see the transition, I'm not 100% engulfed in the internet. So it's like a little bit hard to completely understand. But when you do get a grasp on it and what exactly blogs are and what they're here for and what they do, it's something that you must respect. And with that being said, you know, I'm just really thankful that the blogs fuck with me. Like, I'm just, there's so many people that you know, never get the chance to understand the outlet of a major blog and or a major platform in general. They just think, you know, you just put out your music and you don't really have to find tastemakers and things like that. But these tastemakers, they've developed a fan base of their own,
right?
Who basically, like, if they're messing with you, they're saying like, hey, we trust you enough to say that, you know, to our tastemakers, like, hey, we trust you enough to say to our fan base that us as the tastemakers, you know, believe that this has good taste.
Yeah, because blogs nowadays aren't just like, hey, let's make fun of the Kardashians. Like, there's actual people. The people are actually being discovered through the internet and via blogs, and I'm glad to see you and part of all these interviews. So, kudos to that, man.
Thanks.
Speaking of which, I would love to talk about the other artists nowadays, if you don't mind. Who are you listening to? Who do you feel like is, I guess, in your league, so to say?
Yeah.
Who are you listening to nowadays? Whether it be someone on the radio or someone that's underground, who is it?
Okay, so Right now, I'm actually listening to a lot of 21 Pilots.
Oh, me too, man.
They're extremely inspiring. Like that's kind of the lane. I mean, I don't want to say the lane because I'm super hip hop and like that's always gonna be my world. But I guess you could say like when it comes to making an impact and how I want to kind of separate myself. 21 Pilots is a big inspiration when it comes to making those big records that mean something, that still are poppy, that still kind of demand respect lyrically, like you know what I mean? So that's one inspiration. I'm listening to what else am I listening to? I'm actually listening to a lot of J. Cole right now. Just kind of getting in that rap vibe, getting back in that again. I'm listening to The Life of Pablo, listening to Ye right now. I feel like there's something that I'm not mentioning that I've like really been heavy on lately. You know what? I actually really like Lola Wolf, Zoe Kravitz project. It's like a side project. They're really dope, very innovative and fun. Yeah, man, I think that's pretty good. As far as being like in my league and stuff, I mean, like people like Chance, Childish, Kendrick, J. Cole, Travis Scott, like those, like that's my, like I feel like that's like squad kind of, you know what I mean? Like that's like, you know, the league I'm kind of playing in right now, and you know they've all kind of poked through faster than I have, but you know it gives me the opportunity to sit and observe what they're doing so that I can kind of come in with a little bit of an advantage anyway. So
love it. There you go. How about guilty pleasure, man? Let's talk about artists that we would not expect you to say. Are there any guilty pleasures?
Let me think. Guilty pleasure.
You can say Britney Spears if you want, man. No one's judging.
Man, that's a really good one. Give me a second. I really want to think of someone really good. Hold on a second.
Okay.
You know what? I've been listening to I don't even see this kind of stuff as like guilty pleasure though. I just see it as having good taste. But like I'm listening to like Alina Baraz, a lot of Alina Baraz, Alanis Morissette.
I grew up on her, man. I grew up on Alana.
Yeah, even we've kind of took it back to Nora Jones for a couple of weeks too. Like, but you know, here's the thing, I do a lot of traveling, so there's a lot of times where I'm just like I'm needing the soundtrack to what I'm seeing, needing the soundtrack to what I'm feeling. You know what I mean? Just to kind of like get me through. So there's a lot of like exploring of things that you wouldn't think that like I would be listening to at the current moment, but you're just like, man, how many times can you be driving an Uber and hearing every like same song on the radio? Sometimes you just want to pull up Apple Music or Tidal and just kind of like, you know what I mean, pull up your favorite artist and just go back for a second, you know.
There you go.
NERD, can't leave NERD out. NERD for sure.
Hey, I'm not sure if you know this, but I'm a Virginia guy myself, Virginia Beach, where Pharrell's from.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
awesome.
Yes, sir.
A lot of awesome people come from Virginia Beach.
It's so funny because I'm Filipino, so Chad, you know, I know Chad. Chad
man.
Vigo, so NERD, man, yeah.
Man, that is like, I don't say this very often, but the Neptunes, Pharrell, Chad, man, they are like literally, they're gods to me. Like they are the ones that I grew up studying to learn what this all is really for and what it's all really about, you know.
We may be able to work something out, man. Before we head to the Q&A portion of this, I'd love to know, without you getting in trouble or spoiling anything for us, what's coming up next for you? Anything next year, or anything we can look forward to that you can talk about without getting in trouble?
Yeah, I mean, well, right now I'm kind of in video mode. I've just been doing a lot of writing videos. I do most of the treatments for all my own videos and a lot of directing of my own videos. So, and that's one thing I felt that we really lacked on the Destroyer album was the the right presence as far as music videos and visuals were concerned. So I'm making sure that I stack up on those. Like I told you before the call, we have about 3 or 4 music videos stacked up now, and we're going to get to about 8 or 9 before we start releasing them. So that's one thing that you can look forward to is a lot of visuals, a lot of videos, a lot of just visuals for all of my expressions, so you can kind of tie into the feeling that you're supposed to get a little bit more. On top of that, we're looking to tour. We're looking to tour in the fall. We don't have anything 100% set in stone yet, but we have some very, very good some good situations on the horizon. So let me just say that. And then I really want to drop another album before the end of the year, or at least something that feels like an album that I might give away for free. I'm really inspired just to kind of give people more of what I'm going through right at this time before I get into something that I know that I have to do, and that's kind of talk about what the world's going through.
Yes.
So I want to put out another project before the end of the year. So we'll see if that happens.
Love it. Very cool, man. Thank you for joining us today. I'm going to go ahead and unmute everybody. So this is kind of risky, but if you have a question, go ahead and ask sincerely. And just feel free to jump in. I'm going to unmute everybody right now. It's going to be 3 seconds.
Wait, why is it risky?
It'd be like 5 million voices at one time, but we'll see how this works.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Here we go. Here we go, everybody.
They're asking Kyle questions.
Go ahead and ask a question if you have a question. Nope. I guess no one has a question.
Hello. Might be something going on.
Here's your time.
I think everybody's shy, man. They like your questions.
They're shy around you. They're starstruck right now, man. It's all good. Well, we do thank you for your time today, sincerely. Do you have any pages you'd like to share with us? Instagram, Twitter. Maybe they're too shy to ask you now, but maybe they could tweet you after this.
Yeah, for sure. On Twitter, it's just @SincereCollins, without the LY at the end, and then on everything else, it's @SincerelyCollins.
Awesome, very cool. You have a site you want to share with us too?
Have a what now?
A site?
Yeah, sincerelycollins.com.
Awesome, very cool. You can find us at MixKnowledgy, and you can find me at ERMAN_LA. Thank you once again, sincerely, for your time, and everybody, see you next week.